Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 68 of my Yarny Corner. My name's Alex and I live in Yorkshire in the UK, and this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. So how are we all doing? Have we all had a lovely crafty 2 weeks? Today is Sunday the 7th of January. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. As usual, during the winter, the lighting is appalling. I will lighten it up a little bit in editing, but there's nothing I can do. I did put a light on, selfie light things behind the camera, but I really don't like them. They hurt my eyes, so I can't use them. So I've had to turn it off. All I do is just stare at this light and it just really hurts my eyes. So today we have got a fair bit to talk about. I've got some make-alongs that I want to talk about. And I've got some finished objects to show, and I've got a few whips to show. So settle in. I'm a little bit early filming the podcast. It's not quite been 2 weeks, but the reason being is that Birthday Bonanza starts on Tuesday. If you are new here, Birthday Bonanza is something that we do every single year. It runs from the 9th to the 16th of January, and every day we do a giveaway during Birthday Bonanza. So it's 7 days, 7 vlogs and 7 giveaways. It's just because we have a lot of birthdays in January and it's just after Christmas. January blues have kicked in, so we kind of want to spread the love a little bit. So that's starting on Tuesday, which means I wanted to get the podcast filmed before that started, just to make things a little bit easier on me. The second thing is I do have a make-along running at the moment with my friends Sue and Liz at at Distant Stitches and Benta of Arctic Crafts, and it's the Shop the Stash Mal 2024. It's running for an entire year. I do think on the last episode I gave the wrong hashtag. I think I said Shop Your Stash, and it's not. It's Shop the Stash. I'll pop it on the screen. It's running for an entire year. The only rules need to be you can make whatever you want as long as 50% of your project is yarn from stash prior to 2024. You don't have to finish anything. We're all doing random prizes throughout the year. There's no set rules for when we're drawing prizes, and it's an Instagram only giveaway because there are 3 of us doing it. It's easy just to have it all on one place on Instagram. So it's an Instagram only giveaway, but you can enter via email or tag me on the Facebook group, and I can add your entry into the hashtag for you if you don't use Instagram. So that's the second thing. And I think that might be everything. Is that everything I wanted to talk about? I think so. Things are going to come up throughout the episode. There is another make-along that I want to talk about, which I might just mention here actually while I'm talking about make-alongs. Karen from the Karen Knits podcast is also doing a year-long make-along, and it is to knit socks. The hashtag is Box of Socks Mal 2024, I believe. She's also holding it on Ravelry in her Ravelry group as well. It's just right up my street. As you all know, I knit a lot of socks. So any sock make-along, I'm there for it. And the rules are really, really loose. You know, you can knit shorties, long socks, whatever you want. Just add them into the hashtag or the Ravelry group, and that's running for an entire year. So I am taking part in that. I already have an entry into that as well, which I'm really pleased about. And let me check my notes. I think that's it. Yes, Karen's got a goal of between 24 and 36 pairs of socks for her make-along. Wow, that's a lot of socks. So how many socks did I make? I had no idea, I can't remember. I did make a lot of socks last year, but I don't think I made that many. But sometimes I think I can get 20 pairs of socks in a year. So yeah, that is that, which I am super excited about. If you can hear the dog in the background, she's just having a mad half hour and she's doing all the pug noises, you know, that she's doing all those kinds of noises. So I apologise. I've tried to stop her twice and pause the film, but she's not having any of it. There is one more thing that I want to talk about. Any of you that have been around for any period of time on this podcast, I have talked about Summer Lee Knits. When I first started making socks, I couldn't get it. I absolutely could not wrap my head around how these socks worked. And the thing that I struggled with more than anything was I understood that you needed your own recipe because everybody's feet are different. So depending on how many stitches you cast on one thing or another, I understood that. But what I wanted was somebody just to say to me, right, cast on this, do this, you know, for a very basic pair of socks. Do this, this is how we're doing the heel, this is how it works, do this for your foot and do this for your toe. And at that time, I couldn't find anything. I could find lots of sock patterns, but I didn't want to purchase a pattern because I was not confident in socks. So I just wanted a tutorial on YouTube where I could see what was going on and see what I was doing. I came across Summer Lee Knits, who was just a game changer for me. She explained everything absolutely brilliantly. She started me off with the heel flap and gusset, and before I knew it, I had knit my first pair of socks. So I always rave about Summer Lee because she was the person that taught me to make socks, and we all know I have a huge love of socks. The dog is now rolling around all over the floor. I apologise. Now she's on her back. Anyway, I was flicking through Instagram the other day, and Summer Lee, she actually has a podcast as well. She started a new one this year. She had one anyway, but I think now she's doing weekly episodes as well. But anyway, digressing, flicking through Instagram the other day, I came across Summer Lee's Instagram page, and she is bringing out a sock book. I'm going to have to show you it because... what's it called now? Do you know, I can't remember the name. Because the book's not out yet. It's not out till the 22nd or 23rd of February. The Sock Project, it's called. And you can pre-order it on her website. I'm going to be pre-ordering it off Amazon. But this is the book. Doesn't it look fab? Now, this book, I watched her podcast episode yesterday and she was talking a lot about this book and I am so excited. So she's aimed it at beginners to advance. So when you start the book, you start off with the basic of basic socks and she'll talk you through it all. I know that she's a very good teacher because she taught me how to knit socks. But she also talks a lot about colourwork socks. Now, I have a big problem with colourwork socks because when you knit colourwork into socks, it takes the stretch out. So I always get really frustrated. I've tried a few pairs and I always get really frustrated. But she goes into that in depth in this book and she's got some amazing patterns. I think it's got 25 projects in it. So if you are wanting to learn to knit socks or you are already a sock knitter and you would like to just have a lovely book to look through. Summer Lee has some amazing designs. This book is coming out on the 22nd to 23rd of February. I will link the Amazon page in the description box below, which will take you directly to the Amazon page. I tell you every time, isn't it? Every time I start the podcast, the animals just go nuts. I think it's something to do with me sitting here in this spot. They just decide they're going to go crazy. Anyway, yeah, I will put a link in the description box below which takes you to Amazon. If you don't want to use Amazon, I know a lot of people are funny about using Amazon. Summer Lee has it on her website and the one that I just pulled up there was WH Smith's. So, there's plenty of avenues where you can buy this book. But yeah, it's going to be amazing. Danny's going to pre-order it for me for my birthday. And I cannot wait. It's going to be absolutely fab. So I think that is all the admin-y type things that I wanted to share. Shall we get into some finished objects? So the first finished object that I have is a pair of socks for Danny. Now, I've put them on blockers. Blockers do not work for Danny's socks because my blockers aren't big enough. So they always look a little bit rubbish on blockers. So I'm going to pop a picture on the screen first before I show you them on blockers. It's just because they don't fit. But these are there. This yarn was a gift from one of the lovely viewers at Christmas and I absolutely love it. it's just worked up so well. I'm not going to brag or anything, but look at the pattern matching on them. Well, you can't really see because let me take them off the blockers. The blockers are doing nothing for the socks. I don't normally bother about pattern matching at all. It doesn't, it doesn't faze me in the least. But these have got a really long repeat on these colours. And I just thought I'm going to make the effort and pattern match. So the yarn is King Cole Norse 4-ply, which at the time I did not even know you could get. Isn't it amazing? And it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Each of these sections where the brown and white is slightly different. And it's just worked up so, so nice. Even on this bit where I cast on for the cuff, you can see that centre bit has done exactly the same thing on both socks. They're just beautiful. He hasn't worn them yet because I only finished them a few days ago, so I did manage to keep them for the podcast. He's got loads of pairs of socks now. He doesn't need them straight away. And yeah, he can't wait to have them. He's tried them on. They fit lovely and he is so pleased. So first pair of socks for 2024 for Danny. I'm quite impressed by that. So that's finished object number 1. Now, where did I put it? Oh, it's here. Finished object number 2 is the coffee run collar that I was making on the last episode. It's by Samantha Guerin, I think that's how you say her name. And it's something that I've wanted for ages. I talked about it on the last episode. I have been eyeing up this pattern. It's been in my favourites for a long time. And I finally cast it on and I finished it the other day. So the idea behind this, it's a little collar if you like the feel of a sweater underneath a jacket but you don't like the bulk. So you make like this half sweater. So you're still nice and cosy. It looks like you've got a sweater on, but you haven't. So you've got a full length at the front, and then at the back, it's only half of the length. It's fabulous. The pattern was really, really well written. I did have to modify it. The designer has got a long coat on, so she's got a much longer collar. So I think she'd called for 6 repeats of the pattern. I did 5, and then you were supposed to do 3 inches of the ribbon at the bottom. I'd done 5 repeats, then ran out of room, so I couldn't do the 3 inches. I was very specific on the length that I wanted it, because I wanted to wear it with my denim jacket, and I wanted it to sit, obviously, just under where my denim jacket ends at my waist. I could have done 4 repeats and done extra ribbing, which it would have finished a lot further up. So I didn't want to do that. So I played around a little bit with the pattern, which was really easy to do because it was just a number of repeats. And once I'd done 1 repeat, I knew how long it was going to be. I had swatched for it, so I knew how much the yarn was going to stretch as well. So it wasn't a problem after I blocked it. I knew how much it would stretch. And I did have to go up a needle size. I think the pattern had called for a 4mm and I went up to a 4.5. And I also modified the neckline. So it called for either a 6-inch neckline that you could fold over, or was it a 1 or a 2-inch or something for a crew neck. I didn't want the crew neck. I wanted a little bit of a neckline. But I was concerned, unless I sewed it down, if I folded it over, it was just going to ride up, and I didn't want to be sewing it down. So I just did a 3-inch neckline. So if I pop this on, oh, honestly, I've worn it so much and it's so warm. You can see how that sits, and it just sits beautifully. So I think I got the neckline exactly right for me. It just covers this bit without me feeling like I'm being restricted. And I'm going to get my little jacket out so you can see what it looks like with a jacket. So this is it. So this is the jacket that I wanted it for. And as you can see, it really does look like I'm wearing a sweater underneath it. It's just fabulous. I don't feel claustrophobic at all because I've not got any bulk under this jacket. but it's so warm. It makes such a difference. I was concerned you might have problems with the front coming out, but it doesn't. It stays where it's supposed to stay. It's plenty wide enough. And it's just lovely and exactly what I wanted. So I'm just going to take it back off again. So the pattern is only for one size, which is a little bit disappointing. As it turned out for me, it was the perfect size. Now, I think for this, it would be really, really easy just to go up a yarn weight and a needle size or two, and you would get a bigger size. You could follow the pattern exactly. It's written for DK weight yarn. I feel like I'm really far away now. But if you did it in Aran, if you wanted a bigger size and went up, you know, a couple of needle sizes, you're going to get a bigger garment. And again, if you're smaller and you need a smaller size, you could go down to a sport weight and a smaller size needle. So that is a way around it. But yeah, it's just fabulous. I absolutely love it. I'm so pleased with it. I really am. This detail on here, just look at that. The yarn is one of our yarns. I think it's called Sweater Weather. It's a DK weight. It's 100% merino yarn, and it's just, it's just lovely. It's really lovely. So it's so soft because it's 100% merino, and it's just, it feels like such a luxury piece of knit. I think honestly it is probably up there with one of my favourites that I've knit since I've been knitting. It really is. It's just beautiful. So that is finished. And that's all my finished objects. I'd said this year that I only want to have no more than 3 whips on the go at any one time. And so far, I am finding it so easy to stick to. I am really not struggling at all. In fact, the other day, I only had 1 whip on the go. And I was actually struggling to decide what I wanted to cast on, which I could easily work alongside my other whip. So I've got a couple of new cast-ons. I'm going to talk about the whip that's been on the go now for a few weeks. It was my Christmas Day cast-on, and it is the Painting Honeycombs. Is that camera not right? It's the Painting Honeycombs shawl by Stephen West. Right. I'm struggling with it a little bit because at the moment we have been so busy, and this is one of those projects that you need to sit and have at least an hour where you're not getting disturbed. There's 2 balls of yarn attached. I don't like to put knitting down in between rows, and on this project I don't like to put knitting down until I've done a full 2 rows. So at the moment, I'm finding it a little bit tricky to work on because we've been so busy. I just haven't had the time to sit and only have the time to knit. I'm up, down, and I'm doing stuff, and things have just been a little bit chaotic. So it's not been a practical project over this past few weeks. But nevertheless, there has been progress on it. So I think it's going to take me a little bit longer than what I'd hoped. I'd cast on the large version of this shawl. And when you cast on the large version, you're starting at the widest point of the shawl and you're decreasing all the way down. So once this gets down to about 200 stitches, I think I'm going to find it much easier to work on. At the moment, I think it's still at like 260 stitches or something like that. So it's just that time on the rows that I just don't seem to have at the moment. But this is how it's looking. So it has had some progress, as you can see. That light has gone really weird. One sec. I don't think that's any better. I'll sort it in editing. Anyway, this is how it's looking. I absolutely love it. I still really want the shawl and still really like it. The other day I was thinking, am I going to have time to knit this pattern? But at the end of the day, this is why I'm only having 3 projects on the go. So I can give the time to projects that are maybe taking a little bit longer, or I'm just struggling to do a little bit. So I'm not frogging it, I'm keeping going because I'm still really enjoying it. Once I pick it up, I enjoy it. It's just I don't have the time to give it I've picked it up a few times this past week and I've just managed 2 rows. So there and back, that's it. That's all I've managed to do because like I say, we've been busy. But I'm hoping things are going to settle down a little bit next week and it's going to be fine. So I'm using Escapiers. No, it's not Escapiers at all. It's a crazy Zauberball yarn, which is pinks, purples, greens and greys. And with that, I'm holding it with this pink, which is absolutely beautiful. I talked a lot about the pattern last week, so if you want to know more ins and outs on the pattern, probably check out the last episode. I won't repeat myself here. But yeah, it's just taking a little bit of time. And it's not the pattern, it's me. I haven't got a lot of time at the moment. At the moment, I need quick and easy projects that I can pick up, put down. I know exactly where I am and it's fine. This is just not a practical project at the moment, but hopefully that'll change. So that is whip number 1. So because I'd finished Danny's socks, I decided to cast some more socks on for me. Wait until I show you this yarn. Oh my word. Oh. So the yarn is what I got for Christmas from my son Jake. So it's King Cole Zigzag and the colour is 4815. So it's 100, you get 100 grams and it's 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon and you get 420 metres per 100 grams. So obviously I cast on the pink. Once I've finished Danny's socks, I've been eyeing up this one and I cast this on. But I was not prepared for how amazing this yarn knits. Wait till you see this. I was flabbergasted. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So I've paired it with a green. I didn't quite have enough green, so I've got this green for cuffs and toes, and then I've got this green for the heel. I wanted really bright, but yeah, isn't it beautiful? It's gorgeous yarn, isn't it? So I cast these on, what day when I cast them on Friday, and I got a little bit addicted. This is me I don't have any knitting time at the moment. Clearly I do. Because look what I've done. But it's been an absolute joy. I love this bit here. Absolutely love this bit. It's just gorgeous. The yarn is stunning. What I'm trying to do at the moment is use all of my yarn. Unless it's sort of 10 grams, I've got a scrap jar that sits at the side of me and I don't mind putting 10 grams into it because I always like to make scrappy socks. So I know it'll get used. But like with Danny's yarn, I made his much longer than I usually do. And then I had 35 grams of the yarn left or something like that. So I did 3 granny squares for my granny square project and then I had under 10 grams left which went into my scrap jar, and I am now trying to use all of the yarn before I crack into another new ball of yarn, just trying to get it all used because a lot of the times I end up putting 40 grams in a drawer and 40 grams is really hard to use, I find. So once I've done these socks, depending on what I've got left, I'm either going to do a Musselburgh hat, a 2-tone one, a pair of mitts, or some leg warmers or something like that so I can finish the yarn and get it used and not have all these balls of 40 grams lying around. I don't mind so much if it's hand-dyed yarn and it's a solid because I will always use it. If I've got 30, 40, whatever, there is always a project that comes up for any kind of solid yarn, not just a hand-dyed, a commercial as well. It will always get used, heels, toes and cuffs or scrappy projects. There's always something where you need 35 grams or 40 grams or something like that. With the patterned commercial yarn, it tends to get stuck. So I am going to finish it. So this is my sock recipe. My sock recipe changes constantly. As I evolve with sock knitting, I change how I knit socks. Currently, I cast on 64 stitches on a 2.5mm needle. I do 20 rounds of the cuff, 60 rounds of the leg, and the thing that never changes is my foot length and my shadow wrap heel. I always do 56 rounds for my foot and a wedge toe. But this is the bit that changes constantly. When I first started knitting socks, I used to do shorty socks and only 12 rounds for the cuff. I could knit a pair of socks in a day. There was nothing to them. But I don't wear them now. I prefer my longer socks. As I've got older, I like longer socks. So yeah, 60 rounds for the leg. But yeah, I'm so pleased. They're just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So that is my second work in progress. And then my third work in progress was a new cast on last night. Now, I just reached down. I love to watch Amy at Happy Little Yarn. I will link her podcast in the description box below. She is just fabulous. She's happy. You watch Amy and she just puts you in a good mood. She's absolutely brilliant. Now, about a month ago, I think it was just before Christmas, she brought out her first knitting pattern. It's a free pattern and it's called the Enchanted Evening Cap. When she brought it out, I fell in love with it immediately. And I had the perfect yarn for it. And I knew I did. It was yarn that I got from my friend Karen. When we met up at Yarndale, Karen from Stitches and Jacks, I met up with Karen and Dawn and Jeanette and Laura. And they all brought me a gift. I was very spoiled. But Karen gave me some yarn from Snuggly Stars Yarn. And it was a DK weight yarn. And I loved it. It was one of those yarns that I was thinking, it has to be the perfect project. I love Snuggly Stars yarns anyway. It's a DK weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and you get 212 metres. So I'd been saving this yarn, and when Amy brought out this pattern, I thought that's the pattern for my yarn. I just knew it was. So I cast this on last night. I'll have to pop a picture on the screen of the Enchanted Evening Cap because I've not got much started at the moment, so you're not going to see a great deal. But this is it. This is the yarn. Look how the yarn's working. Isn't it beautiful? Just beautiful. Look at that. So the idea with this hat is you knit and knit and knit and knit, and then you do a folded brim. So you'll fold it over and knit that brim down so you've got a folded brim. And like I say, it's a free pattern, so go and grab yourself a bargain because it's a free pattern and it's absolutely fabulous. It only has one size at the moment, but I was watching Amy last night and she's bringing out the Enchanted Evening Cap in various weights and a range of sizes. It's been so popular. She brought this pattern out when everybody's gone nuts for it. Everybody's loved it. Well, you can see why. It's fabulous. So she's bringing it out in a variety of yarn weights and sizes, which obviously that part will be a paid for pattern. But the DK version that's already on Amy's Ravelry page, she said will remain free. This version will remain free. This is the one that she's made. I think she made it for a daughter. She's even made one now with a ponytail hole so you can wear it with a messy bun. It looks so cool. If you've not watched Amy's podcast yet, go check her out. She's fab. But yeah, so I've cast on the Enchanted Evening Cap and it's really easy at the moment. Just knit, 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 knit. I'm a little bit concerned how well I'm going to do folding over this brim because I tried it once. I can't remember what hat it was, and it was when I'd not long been podcasting, not even a year. And I'd tried a similar thing and royally messed it up. I'm a lot more informed now, so I think I'll be okay, but I'm a little bit, eek, what happened last time? All my fault, I just couldn't do it. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I've got my little needle protectors on. These are from my friend Sue. Aren't they gorgeous? So yeah, I'm really pleased. And that's my 3 projects on the go now. No more cast-ons till 1 or 2 of them are finished, and then I can allow myself to cast on something else. But I'm really happy with what I'm doing at the moment, and that's the most important thing. There is nothing at the moment that's stressing me out. There is nothing that's making me feel overwhelmed. I'm just really content with what I'm knitting, and that is what we should all be. Last year I was overwhelmed so many times, and I've seen a lot of podcasters, you know, doing the 12 days of cast on, and that's fantastic if you don't mind it. I've learned it's not for me. I've had a lot of fun watching them casting on all these projects and getting all the inspiration, but yeah, it's just not something that I enjoy. It makes me feel overwhelmed when you've got more than a couple of projects on the go. You can't possibly work on everything, and which just means things are sitting in bags, you know. So for me, I just like my 3 projects, which is working out fine. I do have another one that I'm thinking of casting on. At the moment, it's just in my mind. I was watching Karen at the Bobblehead Knits podcast, another one of my favourites. She's fabulous. And for her Advent project, she's not now, she's frogged it now because... Right, okay, let's try and tell the story properly. So Karen was making the Naughty or Nice wrap. I did write it down, which is by Samantha Von Noy. I will put a picture on the screen of the pattern. It's a free pattern, and Karen was doing this with her Advent yarn. I still have an Advent that I need to knit, and I was thinking, ooh, I might do that. It's either this or the Trifle Wrap by Helen Stewart. So I downloaded the Naughty or Nice pattern, and it's just playing in my mind. I'm not going to cast it on at the moment because I've got a shawl on the go and I don't want 2 shawls on the go. So it's just sitting there waiting. You know, when you've got that, I could cast that on, but I'm going to wait a little bit. But I did have to laugh because I was watching Karen and she said, I think I was watching it this morning actually. And she'd said, for those of you wondering about the Naughty or Nice wrap that I was making, it's been frogged because somebody in the My Yarny Corner Facebook group posted the Radvent cardigan, which was just our friend Catherine. She is fabulous. She makes some amazing things. She had finished the Radvent cardigan by Amber O'Brien. I'll pop a picture of that on the screen as well. And it looked stunning. So Karen had seen this and thought, oh, I'm going to make that instead. So she's actually frogged the Naughty or Nice wrap now and cast on, I think she's cast on the Radvent cardigan. But yeah, I just thought, that's my Yarny Corner's fault. But yeah, you know, it's just, you've got to knit what brings you joy. And if something isn't bringing you joy, then you shouldn't be knitting it. What's the point? So yeah, I do have that other Advent to knit. I was going to say something else a minute ago, and I thought I'll say that in a minute, and I've completely forgotten what it was. It's completely gone out of my head. But yeah, I'm just, the other project is just sitting in my mind. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Just sitting in my mind, and I was thinking, yeah, it's something I could do. We were talking about this at Knit Group. One of the lovely ladies at Knit Group, she said the other day, we'd gone back to Knit Group last Thursday. We didn't actually have a break from Knit Group. We've been going the whole time. But obviously it was the first Knit Group of 2024 last Thursday. And we were talking about resolutions, and none of us are really into resolutions. It's just, you know, you can change anything at any point. You don't need a new year to do it. And we were sort of saying this, and one of the ladies said, I don't do to-do lists anymore. She goes, I do could-do lists, and it's much nicer. And I'm like, I'm so doing that. She goes, when you've got a to-do list, it shouts at you to do this and you've to do that. She says, but I just have could-do lists. I could do that. Might not do that. I could do that. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to do that with my knitting. I could do that. I'll leave it there thinking about it. And I'm going to have a could-do list in future as well, because I think that's a great idea. Anyway, that is all of the knitting talk. So, life and shop update news, all that kind of stuff is coming next. I'll go into the shop stuff first. I did mention on the last episode there would be no shop update on the 1st of January. That's because it's just after Christmas. We've done it before. It's not a popular month. So we don't do that first one, but we always bring something out for Birthday Bonanza. So there is a very small update. You still get an update. So I can't remember what we did the previous years. Last year we did the identical yarn cakes. This year we are doing party boxes. So this is why we've been so busy and I couldn't knit on my shawl. So they come in letterbox boxes, so the postage is cheaper on these as well, which is really good. So these are party boxes. Now, what you get in these is, you already seen this if you're in the Facebook group, I did share. You get 20 5-gram minis, perfect for scrappy projects, scrappy socks, cosy memories, blankets, my dreamer shawl pattern, the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose. There is a lot of patterns that call for scraps. So you get 20 5-gram minis, and these are absolutely gorgeous. So this is how the box will look. Slight rustling, I might cut it out. And inside you will have 20 5-gram minis. They are all different. They are all completely random, so we're not, because there are so many minis, it would have to be an individual listing for each one. So they are just random. You won't get any minis repeated. They are all completely different. Some of them are obviously slightly over 5 grams, but there's a minimum of 5 grams on each micro skein, and they are just random. So the listing will go up on... I think we'll put it up tomorrow, Monday, the 8th of January at 7 p.m. is when this listing will go up for these. I think we have 17 party boxes, so we've got plenty. We've been working so hard to do these. And like I say, they're all micro skeins. There are 25-gram minis, so it's 100 grams of yarn. I'm just going to fold that back up. There we go, rustling stopped. Yep, so it's 100 grams of yarn. Usually 100 grams in our shop is £16, but these are all individually hand wound, so they are slightly more expensive. So they're £18 in the shop for these, just because the amount of work that has gone into making them. We have hand wound every single micro skein. This is why we've been so busy. We've still got a few more to do today before they're finished, but not many. But they will all be ready tomorrow. So they'll be going on the website tomorrow at 7 p.m. and that is our Birthday Bonanza. Theme this year is party boxes. So I'm so excited to finally share it with you. We've known we're doing these now for about 3 months. So I'm so excited to finally share it with you. But yeah. So that is that. They're on sale tomorrow at 7 p.m. Like I say, they will have slightly cheaper postage on because they are letterbox boxes. So I think they're £1.85. So it is a cheaper postage as well, which is always a good thing. So that's that. A live dye is coming this month as well. We're not sure on the date yet, so I will keep an eye on the YouTube community posts. I'll pop it on their Instagram, Facebook group, all of those places. Birthday Bonanza, I'll talk about it on there. But there is a live dye coming in January, towards the end of the month. It'll be around the 25th at some point. So we've got that coming. And what else was I going to say? The next shop update is on the 1st of February. So that is all shop news. The party boxes, I'm not sure it's something we'll keep in stock all the time. It may be just come into stock every so often. We'll just see how they sell and we'll see how it goes. But you can never go wrong with 5-gram mini scraps. There are so many things you can make. I'm going to try and nab a box for myself. If I can, I don't think I'm going to be able to, because I don't think we've got enough for me to steal. But I'll make one for myself anyway. So yeah, that is it for shop news. Oh, there is one more shop news thing coming out. There is a new pattern coming out. It's gone to testers at the moment. I announced it in the Facebook group the other day. If you're not in the Facebook group and you ever do want to test, if you're in the Facebook group, you'll always get a notification for test. I post there first, and then if I don't get enough testers, I'll put it onto other socials. But I did get enough testers. So these are the Journey socks. I've got the pattern. Another sock that I designed for Danny. So these are the Journey socks. I can't show you the socks because he's had these socks about 3 months and they're currently in the machine. If you can hear the machine going, they're in there. But they are fabulous. The reason they are called the Journey socks, the Journey socks are designed to be a fabulous sock to wear in walking boots, taking you wherever your journey leads. The extra thick layer around the leg will keep your feet cosy in your boot, and where will your journey take you? So this bit here, just on the leg, you can't really see it on this pattern. I might have to pop a picture on the screen. It's a little bit of colour work, so you've got a few floats, which creates a nice cushiony leg, which is great. This is why I did them. So when Danny's got his boots on, he's got some nice protection on his boots. Any socks that I've been designing have all been for Danny. So these are designed for Danny. But if I show you another picture, I did my own version in pink. My version, I put a little bit of rib on it first. In fact, the first of the Journey socks were ribbed. I'm going to be totally honest. So my first prototype of the Journey socks, I designed them for Danny, but I made them in my colours first. So the pink ones were the first ones that I made, and I made them ribbed. So you had this colour work here, then a ribbed foot. And I got really mixed feedback. Some people loved them and some people said, not the rib, not for me. So when I made Danny's, I decided to omit the rib completely, which is this one. And then showed them to my friend Sue, and she said, I really like the rib. So the pattern does not have the rib, but my version does. I'm going to do something with a rib sock anyway. But yeah, so that's why they look slightly different. The Journey socks don't have the rib. I made the decision and stuck with it. It was so hard. But yeah, this pattern is currently in test. I'm hoping to have it out early February, but we'll see how the testers find it, whether it needs tweaking or one thing and another. It should be fine. I'm just going to pop that over there. There are 2 more patterns coming out. Hopefully not too long. I've not had chance to. I've got one that's ready to write. I can show you it actually. I just haven't written the pattern. And it's the puffle cowl, which is this one. So obviously this is designed off the puffle socks. I just need to write it. The plan is to write it after Birthday Bonanza is done, get the pattern written and then straight out to test. The cowl has been ready ages. I've made it just a really nice little cowl where it's not too big. Sometimes with cowls, I don't like it when they're really oversized because I just like them to be a little bit snug and just sit nicely like this. This is perfect for me. So I kept it a little bit on the short side. The other reason for keeping it on the short side is the nature of the stitch. It's ribbing, just like the puffle socks, it's ribbing and puffs, little puffs on it. So it doesn't tend to fold. Sometimes if you do a knitted cowl, it just folds down and it just sits here. This one doesn't because of the nature of the cowl. So like I say, pop it back on a minute. It just sits nicely under a jacket and you can pull it up and wear it like that if you're really cold, or just keep it pulled down. It's really lovely. So this pattern is just to write. If anybody wants to test this pattern, you can send me an email and I'll add you to the list to test it. Hopefully this will be written up in, like I say, the next week and a half. I'll have this written up. It's not a difficult pattern, so it really won't take me long. And it's ready to go out to test. If anybody wants to test this, just send me an email and I'll pull my finger out and write the pattern up. So that is that. And then I have another one which is top secret, because it's one that's been ongoing for a while. I'm super excited about it. Not going to share anything about it other than the name, and it's called the Devlin Shawl, which is named after my friend Sue. And it was totally inspired by her. So I named the shawl after her, and it's called the Devlin Shawl. So that needs a little bit more work, and then writing up, which is a little bit more labour intensive. It's probably the biggest pattern that I've done, to be honest with you. And I'm not sure it doesn't need a tutorial. So I've been holding off finishing it, thinking, when I film, sorry, I'm really rambling at this point. I'm really sorry. When I film a tutorial, I use the same tripod that I film the podcasts on. But for filming a tutorial, it's absolutely pants. I need to get a proper overhead selfie stick thing so I can film tutorials properly. The problem being that the reviews are so hit and miss on them all, and they're not the cheapest of things to buy, that I've no idea which one to buy. So this shawl has been held off, thinking I need to look at it to see if I need to film this tutorial. There's a part on it that I don't want to do unless I need to film the tutorial. There's no point in doing it, then having to make the whole shawl again to do it again to film a tutorial. So that one's going to be another month to 6 weeks before that one's ready. I think it's going to take a little bit longer, but I'm super excited about it. Cannot wait to share it, but I will contain myself. So that is that. And then, yeah, just life stuff. It's been really busy because we've been making all the micro skeins for the shop update. We have just been so busy trying to get those done. It takes a long time. Finlay had his birthday yesterday. This is why we have the birthday bonanza. Finn's birthday is on the 6th of January and mine is on the 9th. The podcast is the 11th. I've got a hiccup. A new idea hiccup. The podcast is on the 11th and Danny's is on the 16th. So there's a lot going on in January, and that's why we have birthday bonanza. But yeah, Finn had his birthday yesterday, had an absolutely great day. He really did. And he's 13. How did that happen? He's 13 years old. I no longer have any little children. I've got 2 teenagers and an adult son. How has that happened? Oh my word. So yeah, he had a great day. He's 13 now. And yeah, so that's been it really. We've just been working and trying to get stuff done, all ready for birthday bonanza. It's always a lot of prep for birthday bonanza. I want to have everything ready by the end of today. So tomorrow it's all just ready to go. And then I think things might settle down a little bit for a couple of weeks. So yeah, there's been no real... I told you my engagement news last week, so you all know about that. And yeah, there's not been anything really. We had a great New Year. We had a really quiet New Year. We sat and played Monopoly on the PlayStation. It was fantastic. We love playing board games. And we used to play a lot of Scrabble, did Danny and I. And a lot of Monopoly. We have every version going of Monopoly we've got, all of them, plus the cheating edition. But you can play Monopoly on the PlayStation and Xbox. It's really cheap to buy. I think it's like £7 to buy it, but it's absolutely brilliant. You don't have to worry about the cash. It's all done for you. When me and Danny play it on our own, you can put 2 AI versions on it as well, so it makes it a better game because technically there's 4 of you playing. So we played that. I always lose at Monopoly. Danny always wins. And I really thought I had him. I really thought I was going to win, and he just swooped in at the last minute. It's because what he does is he gets hotels on his buildings as soon as he can. So in order to beat Danny, you've got to stop him getting colour sets. That's the only way you can beat him. I did really well because I had all the stations and everyone kept landing on my station. So I was getting £200 each time. But he ended up getting he had Mayfair and Park Lane and got hotels on them both. I don't even need to say anymore. Once round the board, landed on him, bankrupt. And that was that. So I lost at Monopoly. We had a really good New Year though. It was lovely. It was just me and Danny. Josh was working. Finn was chilling with his mates. And then Josh got in about 11 o'clock and spent the rest of the hour with us. Finn came and chilled with us as well. It was just lovely. Just a lovely New Year. And yeah. So anyway, that's everything. I am going to stop waffling. It's 10 to 10. 10 to 10 in the morning. This was supposed to be a half an hour podcast. I thought it'd be really, really quick and it hasn't been. Never mind. So I hope you all have a lovely crafty 2 weeks. I will be back in around 2 weeks. It might be slightly later because of birthday bonanza, but we'll just see. Whatever day that I can do it, I will. Birthday bonanza starts on Tuesday. Please come and join us if that's your thing. If it's not your thing, then don't worry about it. But yeah, it'd be lovely to see you there, and have a lovely crafty 2 weeks, everybody. Bye bye.